one of my personal priorities after joining the board, and the staff is aware of this, but is to see ways that we can improve service to suburban areas. This is not the same region it was 10, 20 years ago, and Portland is not the center of our region as much as it used to be. And so the growth of employment, the growth of residential areas in the suburban areas is a fact of life and something that we need to be able to respond to. And I see that this is exactly what we're doing. So I really strong support and strong thanks for doing so. My question really comes down to knowing that any service changes or most service changes, improvements, come with a price tag. And clearly these are not the best financial times, particularly for this agency. What's the assurance, or what can we do to make sure that this is just not another plan that looks good and then it gets set on the shelf and, gee, wouldn't it have been nice? How can we make sure we're actually going to follow through with these commitments and get these improvements made? And, I introduced myself for the benefit of the audience. I forgot to mention I am here representing Clackamas County. How do we get, how are we going to follow through on the plan to do these kind of studies in the rest of the region?
And that's exactly why we really consciously divided the vision into what's the long-term vision to support the long-term growth, and that really hinges on our sort of struggle to get the long-term cost curves under control. I'll probably defer to Neil to say more about that, but also to consciously make sure that we understand if there are any opportunities in the near term that have very low cost or no cost. It's just in terms of building that basis, that infrastructure, the basic foundation for that long-term growth. And that's what we're really embarking on in the next couple of years, so that there's something we can do right away to build towards that vision. And then it really is sort of the overall, the agency's struggle to make sure that our cost containment works to be able to give us the space to do that, to do the real vision in the future.
One of the things that I personally would like to see, and I think would help with this, is if we could build in a reporting component to this and every other plan. So on a regular basis, we're coming back not just to this board, but to, in this case, our partners in Washington County, and give us like an annual report. What have we done in the past year? What's out there left to be done? Where are our opportunities? And I suggest that as a way to keep this a living document, something that we don't just put on a shelf and, okay, we get busy and other things happen. I really do want to see our commitments followed through.
Terrific. We'd be happy to do that, and we've made sure that we're assigning staff in a way that allows Tom to still pay attention to the West Side and still keep moving things forward, even as we're expanding our vision to other areas.
Thank you.